Hey guys, what's up? Thought I'd do a chart review video. I haven't done one of these in a long time. Put a poll out in the Facebook group to see what people wanted. No surprises there. Everyone wanted Bitcoin is the top vote, so let's start with that. We haven't quite hit all-time highs yet, but we have had the highest daily close on record. This wick here goes to 64,840 and we're now at 64,262, so I don't know, about $600 away. So things are looking good. The bears will say this is a double top. I'm not in that camp. I'm in the maybe there's a double top pullback camp. So something like this, and then we head towards 70s, around that sort of thing. Personally, I don't want to see anything below 60 because it'll be just like a psychological level type thing. We're mid 60s now. If we start falling back into the 50s, people will start to get worried. Even though from a technical perspective, if we did pull back to here, it would be an obvious level just to bounce off. The 50 EMA would probably be somewhere around in here too, so it wouldn't be bad, but just from a morale perspective, it'd be pretty bad. So yeah, it's going to be one of those, do we short squeeze and pump, or do we come back down to here? I don't really know yet. Got these P candles though on the Oracle indicator, which is basically, it's kind of like a TD9 type thing. So we've had a few of those in the past where there's been a reversal. So here's one here, it's come back. This one here has gone up. This one here has come down and then gone up. Reversal down, change direction, go up. So this could pull back. From a long-term perspective, I'm still looking for 100k sort of area minimum. I think though that if we do continue up, we'll probably hit around this area, so between the 272 and the 618. Because just the measured move from this pullback here, so maybe we get into this zone and then we come back, hit all-time highs again, and then start marching our way towards 100. So obviously bullish Bitcoin. I'm bullish Bitcoin all of Q4. It's been that way every halving since we've started, so I don't see it changing this time around. So yeah, I've still got my hold bags of Bitcoin, haven't touched them, they're still there. I have a low leveraged futures position open which has a March expiry, so that allows me to keep it open until the end of the year without paying any funding. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, but I'm not doing any day trades on this. I'm just keeping a low leverage futures trade on, which I entered around here, around in this part here, just on the breakout. So we're away, things are looking good. Nothing to worry about if you are a Bitcoin holder. The next one is Polkadot. Right, so this is Polkadot on the daily. Let's go to the weekly first. Just have a look. It kind of, it resembles Bitcoin a lot, right? So there's that run up in May. It's just mirroring what Bitcoin's doing, really. So it wouldn't surprise me if it if it followed Bitcoin on the breakout. Wouldn't surprise me, because it looks very correlated. So it will depend on how vicious the breakout is on Bitcoin as to whether it drags it down. So it's at a good spot now. It's cleared this level, but it still has a ways to go before it gets past here. If it gets past here, then it's off to the races. There's nothing stopping it. But now there's a lot of traffic here. You've got Bitcoin looking dangerous, and it could suck the dollars out of all the alts. So let's have a look at what it looks like. BTC pair. So BTC pair, like, price hasn't really changed much since March. It's just basically gone sideways. It was up and then down and then up. So if you held DOT, it's held its own against Bitcoin, and that was evident from the chart that we just watched, or we just looked at, because it was so correlated to the Bitcoin chart. It doesn't look overly bad. So, I mean, here's a decent level here. It's starting to reject off the 50. This 50 EMA just here. If it can hold its own above here, then you know, DOT should do all right. And the you know, and this chart, which looks like it's following Bitcoin, should continue to follow it up. The question would be, is it going to go up faster than Bitcoin, or is Bitcoin going to go up faster than DOT? Yeah, I don't know. If I had to, you know, gun to my head, probably Bitcoin will go up faster. So, but, you know, alts will have their time once Bitcoin settles down. So this one's looking okay. Next one, ADA. Cardano. Let's go the Binance. Let's look at the weekly. So this is Cardano on the weekly. They've got all sorts of issues with their chain and their smart contracts, which are supposed to launch. And around here was when they were supposed to launch, or did launch, but, you know, it's not mainstream use. They've got problems with, I think their throughput's really low. And I saw tweets about you can only have like one transaction at a time or something. I'm going, oh man, this is terrible. It's just been down ever since. Down, red, right? So we're now getting towards the 20 EMA, and here's the 50, and here's the order block. None of this is looking healthy at all. This is not something that I would be buying. Volume is dropping way off. The activity, everybody was happy about it here. Now it's dropping off. The RSI sort of in the middle. So, you know, nobody's either bullish or bearish about it. It's just like a slow grind. Like, this doesn't look great. Can we draw some sort of support line there maybe? Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean I could remove this and it would just be a big descending triangle. Like, if this breaks the Bollingers and falls down to here, which it could, there's an obvious support line here, it'll hit the 200, and then, yeah, it's not great. A to BTC. Oh god, that's even worse. So the major trend line has been broken here. If you were a Cardano bull, you'd really want to see, because it came up and then bounced and up and then bounced, and you wanted to see this. That would be healthy. That's fine, but it didn't. It broke it. No, let's get rid of that. We don't need that. So ADA versus Bitcoin is getting hammered. We're at the 50. Let me just move this up here. So it could be, see, here's the top of the wick just there on the weekly. Wicks are important on the weekly, not so important on lower time frames. So So here's the order block. So we're coming back to support here, and there's a P candle. So we could get some relief, maybe go to here, but like I expect, unless there's some magical fundamental news that comes out, I don't see Cardano doing well against Bitcoin in the near term. No, it's not a pretty chart at all. It's very top heavy. If it breaks below here, it's going to head down to the 200, which is probably around this level. So the rejection here, the wick here, the wick there, and this order block here. It's probably going, and there's the 200, right? So it'll probably, if it breaks here, it's going to fall all the way down to here. ADA. Let's go back to the USD chart. If you're not interested in what the Bitcoin chart's saying, you should be, but if you're not, you're looking at here, and if it breaks that, then it's going to fall all the way back to about $1.20. This is not a bullish chart. I wouldn't even contemplate buying this until it broke this trend and came up above the 50. Okay, next, Solana. Let's have a look. It's not too bad. I've tweeted about this setup before. There's this huge bull pennant. Versus Bitcoin, though, it ain't great. So it's in a bear trend here. We're going here like this, right? So lower highs and lower lows. There's the next order block here. If we break this one, like if Bitcoin starts to rip and breaks from here, it's going to fall down to like 0.002, and then there's the next one. There's the 200. So, you know, chances are that the 200 will move its way up here. So that'll be the next fall. If Bitcoin rips. On the USD chart, though, it looks okay. It is coming up to decision time, though. It needs to break upwards. It needs to break upwards, out, come back, and then take off. If it falls below here and then it does this, you know, you want to cut your positions if you're trading it, because it'll fall. If it falls below the 50 and outside the Bollinger's and down like this, it's going to fall at least to 110, I reckon. If it breaks up here, for Solana to get real bullish for me, it needs to be above like 175-ish. So let's draw that in properly. So if it broke out, it would hit here. It would probably come back to this level and then that. So I'm not adding to my Solana position. I still have my Solana, like I've got a spot position. I don't have any, you know, leverage positions open on Solana. I do hold my spot. For me, get rid of that. For me, like my average buy price is like here on the breakout. Like I bought lower here and I bought higher as well. So I think the average is around here. So I'm in profit on that. I'm not too concerned. I know that Bitcoin will probably outperform Solana in the near term. You know, but towards the end of the year, when the alts start to rally, if it mirrors the other halving cycles, right? So where Bitcoin takes off and then it peaks, and then, you know, alts have like a few weeks where they go nuts as well after it. You know, Solana is going to be one of those ones that takes off. You know, what else? Like Polkadot probably. You know, Luna. Maybe even Cosmos Atom. Yeah, so there's going to be a few quality ones that have good positive vibes around them that will do well in that period. But I think, yeah, just overall on a USD point of view, it's looking okay. But, you know, compared to Bitcoin, it doesn't look great at all. Like, I fully expect it to come back down to here. Versus ETH, that's another one. Versus ETH, it still looks pretty bad. Doesn't look as bad as a Bitcoin pair, but it still looks pretty bad. Wouldn't be surprised if it came back down to here. There was a good rejection. There's that week here, good rejection. But if this like closes below all this stuff, it's just going to keep grinding its way down as Ethereum starts to gain against Solana. So we'll see how that one goes. ETH is the next on the list. There's a lot of lines here. Let's get rid of them. Fresh chart. So ETH's in an interesting spot. It needs to clear here. Here's ETH's all-time highs up there, but there's a lot of traffic there. Near-term targets for ETH, if we break, is probably between, I'd say 5,000, 5 and 6,000. For the first pullback, probably 5,000. It's like 4.8 there, so 5,000 would be the the nice round number psychological wise. It looks like it's even got like a inverse head and shoulders thing happening here. So yeah, I'm not too worried about ETH. It looks fine. It's a similar. It seems to be following Bitcoin at the moment. The FBTC chart doesn't look great though. It looks really bad. Let's remove these lines. Let's go to the weekly. Have a look. This is heavy. This is really heavy. Could easily see us coming back to the 50 at the very least. You got this bounce here, you got this order block here, so this line around here, there's touches here, it's lining up with the 50. It makes sense to me. So is there something over here? Maybe maybe a line there. So in this zone, right? So ETH looks heavy. It's definitely broken trend against Bitcoin on the weekly like this, right? So back down to here. So Bitcoin's too strong at the moment. We're rejecting off the 200 on the daily. Let's draw this in a bit neater. Let's have a look. Probably like that. Yeah, so it's broken the trend, came up, rejected the trend from the underside, then came back down. So there's that break and retest that I always talk about. It's very simple pattern. Happens a lot. Yeah, so for it to come back down to here would make sense on a weekly time frame. It needs to bounce here, otherwise it's done. So it'll come back down to here. That's versus Bitcoin. Versus USD, it's okay. I still have a small bag of ETH, so I'm not getting rid of it. This kind of also looks like a big cup and handle, right? And it keeps going. So all good news there with ETH, well, except versus Bitcoin, but everything versus Bitcoin looks terrible. So Matic is the next on the list. Is there a Matic ETH pair? There is a Matic ETH pair. Alright, so let's go Matic. Matic USD. It's not terrible. So there's our line. It's bouncing off that. It's not terrible. Keep in mind that Matic is one of those coins. Geez, what the hell? Huge buying. I'm not sure what happened here. I don't know if there's any news or whatever, but Matic is one of those coins that's farmed. Okay, so it's in a lot of yield farms. So there's always sell pressure on Matic, especially from people that just don't give a shit about the coin. And those large farming whales, they will just take whatever governance token that is on offer and dump it for stable coins, or use it to recompound into the farm. Huge impulse though, so that's promising. So that's a massive candle in it. erased all of this price action back to here. So that's September. So there's like 6 weeks worth of price action just erased in that one candle. Huge volume. It looks like it kind of wants to do that. So it's not a terrible chart. It's okay. I'll be more, you know, I'll be happier if it bounces to here, then you want to see it break out. So you would definitely start loading your bags up if it got to here. That being said, let's have a look at ETH. So Matic versus ETH doesn't look great. This is just, you know, down, down, down. It tried to break the trend and it didn't, and it failed. Here's previous support. It's being protected by the 200 at the moment. You know, lots of volume coming here. Massive spike. If it can break above this line, then you would go long. That means it would start to outperform Ethereum as well, which would be good. That would be bullish, big time bullish, right? What does it look like versus Bitcoin? Yeah, it looks similar, but a little bit worse. This, yeah, this is not great. Again, you want to make sure that it breaks trend. So I wouldn't be. It's already broken below this support. See, it's come back down, broken, back up, retest, broken, zigzag, zigzag, zigzag down, break up, retest, back down. So, like, I wouldn't be buying until it did that, and you'd buy here. But this is just zigzagging its way down. It's not good. Yeah, Matic USDT though is okay. So it's really, as it is with most of these alts, you just need to ask yourself what's more important. You know, if you're a dollar maxi and you want to get the most money you can, then buying these coins that are weak against Bitcoin is silly, because if Bitcoin's going to outperform the alt that you're going to buy, then why would you buy it? Just wait until the end, right, when Bitcoin tops out, because all the profits from Bitcoin will rotate into alts, and that's when you go in heavy into your favorite alt. Unless, of course, you know, dollar cost averaging into your favorite alt now. So, you know, that's why it's hard to give recommendations, right? I can give you a general overview of what the chart's looking like to me, but, you know, your trading strategy might be, you know, it may not matter. Like, if you're just buying little bits every day because, you know, you're preparing for the last month of the year where it's going to go spastic and you don't care that it's going down now, you know, all power to you. Let's have a look. What is next on the list? I don't know this project. I do not know this project, but the chart certainly doesn't look great. It had its big run up and now it's just sort of meandering away. Is there any sort of trend that we can draw? Maybe if you ignore this fake out here, there's touches here. It's lining up with the 200, so where's the... yeah, kind of. Yeah, so the 200 and this resistance lines and the Bollingers are lining up. It's had a good run up off the bottom. It's in one of those spots where you just sort of want to watch it. So, I mean, I don't know what the fundamentals of this are like, but from a technical perspective, I'm not buying it until it does that. Because it could easily just do this. It's so, you know, again, it's one of those if then else things. Trading doesn't have to be difficult. It's your emotions that make it difficult. You need to look at it from a rational point of view, and versus Bitcoin, it's at all-time lows. It's bouncing off the bottom. Like, there's nothing. This is just looks dead to me. versus Bitcoin. I assume that this is the start of the chart, so that's November 2020. It could go back further. I don't really know. But you can see how price is getting squeezed between the 50 and the 200, and it's kind of following the 200 as well, and the 50. It's getting squeezed down here by the 20. There's a lot of traffic that it needs to get through before this is bullish on the Bitcoin chart. This is not something that I would buy. Track. Guys, this thing's still only on Bittrex. Bloody hell. Origin Trail is mooning for some reason. Okay. So good for you if you hold Origin Trail. They might have released something. Some news maybe. It's starting to curve up too if you look at the trend. So the trend lines, trend lines usually do that, but this is going, so it's starting to go, looks like it's starting to go parabolic, so that's good. If you're wanting to get in on this, what's the weekly look like? Oh, okay, right, so you got this order block and P block in here. What else is this? This probably makes more sense. What does that look like on the daily? Oh yeah, that makes, yeah, it's a bit better. See, sometimes when you draw in support resistance, if you're not too sure, just check on what it looks like on other time frames, and it might make more sense. So where are we now with price? So we've broken here, so that's good. Let's go back to the daily. If you can hold above here, it should keep going. But again, I don't know what the news was, but it must have been good. Let's have a look at track versus Bitcoin. Even versus Bitcoin, it's pumping. Wow. Well. Yeah, so it's definitely broke trend. So there it is. It's broken trend. Where's my little thingy? Zigzag, higher highs, higher lows, come back, hit trend, and then mooned again. So yeah, like it. It's at an interesting spot though now. So rejection here, traffic, rejection. Heaps of bounces. There's an order block in there. Got rejected here on 24th September, so about a month ago, and it's at the same spot again versus Bitcoin. So what's RSI looking like? Sort of in the middle to the higher, so that's bullish, that's fine. Worth a gamble. It'd be worth a gamble. Not for me though, but would be worth a gamble. So what I would want to do, just to make it a bit safer, because like I've mentioned this before, I'm shit at bloody breakout trading. I would wait until it did that and then enter in there. If you're already holding, continue to hold. I think that's a good one. It's not bad. Iota next on the list. Oh god, doesn't look good to me. It's already broke. See, here's the trend here. Well, it's only 2 touches, so it's not really a trend, but it's already started to dip. See, it's dipped below here, so it's now rejecting from the underside, and it hasn't recovered. The horizontal level is about, looks like it's around here somewhere, where the 200 is. It's a key moving average. You really need that on your chart. The amount of times that price just reacts to these two is uncanny. You do have a P block though, so it could pause and maybe turn around, but this is not something that I would be buying. Volume's dropping off too, which also could mean, breakouts and things, but like the RSI's in the middle, it's not bullish, not bearish, nobody's trading it, it's sort of just, wilting away. Pretty meh. What's a Bitcoin? Oh god, this is awful. Versus Bitcoin is broken below. There's the touch here, wicks to here, candle stop there, bounce, 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 and now it's below that. Yuck. Yeah, don't like it. Not good. What's the weekly look like? Oh god. When you zoom out, it's even worse. Yeah. No, I don't like Iota at all. Yeah, I wouldn't be holding this much longer. Like if you really wanted to enter Iota, you'd have to wait for at least higher lows. I mean, where are they? It's just grind down. It's not great. Protect yourself if you're holding Iota. Next one, Step is on the list. So Step is only paired against USD. I've tweeted about this before because it kind of looks like the old ETH chart, and it also reminds me of a Livermore, like because of the Livermore patterns there, but it's sort of broken that now. Okay, here's the trend that I had in. The drawing tool. Here's the trend that I had drawn in, and I was hoping for a launch off here, but we never got it. But it's held the horizontal level well, and here's like this order block, so it's okay. It could still, however, because here's the trend, right? So it could come up, hit this trend and come back. It needs to be above here for me to like it more. From a fundamental standpoint, there's a lot going on with Step, and they've got more things to release. So things are good, but I think that Bitcoin's going to take the wind out of its sails. It's looking okay. I mean, today it's looking okay. If it can close green, it should probably recover a bit, but it really needs to get above like $1.10. Otherwise, it will just sort of fade. It'll come up, then fade, then go, back down to here. This trend line here is all important. It needs to do that. Like with a lot of the other alts, the RSI is just in the middle. Everyone's sort of like waiting. No one's bullish or bearish. Trading volume's drying up. And that's saying a lot because Step from, the analytics is probably the most traded Solana token that there is. So I hold a position in this. My position in it isn't massive, so if I lose against Bitcoin on this, it won't matter really too much. I am expecting it to though. But all of my Step is in the Step staking contract, and converted to X Step. So at least it's doing something for me. So that's earning a yield for me while we wait. Can always DCA in some more, but if we lose this level, it's game over. So need to get above here though. Here I'm satisfied with, here I'm happy with, here I'm not very happy with at all. So it's okay. Proton is the next one. Proton Tether. There's not much history. Is there one that's more history in there? Oh, that's a bit. Whoa, is that this? I don't know if that's the right. That looks way different. Oh, that's versus Korean one. Huobi. Let's go KuCoin. When did that chart start? 24th of August. XPR. Huobi chart. September. Okay. Well. Oh, that's XPRT. XPR. Proton. So this is the one. This is the one. XPR Proton. Yep, that's right. Next one, Proton. Yeah, there's nothing bearish about this. That should be obvious. It is looking like it's topping out though. I have no idea what this coin is, and why didn't somebody tell me? I mean, look at it. It's gone up 500% in what, 3 weeks? Jeez. It is looking toppy though. It is looking toppy. Could see a pullback to here. It does look toppy. If it does look toppy, like if you need to be getting above here. Oh, actually, hang on. See, this is where you need to be looking at multiple time frames, because the daily looked toppy, but the 4 hour kind of looks like an ascending. What's the 1 hour look like? Alright, so if you're in this, just hold it. You'd want to cut it if it falls below here, but it looks like it's trying to do an ascending triangle type thing and break out to the upside. Oh yeah, alright, so that looks okay. Does it have a Bitcoin pair? It does. Geez, even against the Bitcoin pair it's pumping. Alright, cool, good for you, whoever you are who voted for this one. This looks like it wants to have... It looks like it wants to go... So the breakout target for this would be 0. Or whatever that is. 100 and... What is that? 10,030. Around here. If it broke up. If it starts to fall below the 50, you're in trouble. But this looks pretty good. Yeah, Proton. I might have to look that one up. Let's look at the next one, Luna. Huge area of importance in here, so probably here and about here would be the area. Also lines up with the order blocks and stuff. It looks like it's trying to break out on the dollar pair. There's the line, it's broken past the 50, so Luna's looking good. That's on the 4 hour, so this is the daily. I guess the only thing that I don't like is the big bear div here, but that's already played out. So if it can stay above here, we're good. Luna Bitcoin doesn't look as good. So what it could do is pump to here, and then hit and go back down. So probably stop at the 200 and maybe go down to there. So, but you know, the USD pair looks okay versus Bitcoin. It looks very weak. Like Bitcoin will outperform Luna just by looking at this. So if it stays below here, Fantom. So Fantom is the coin of the moment as far as the layer ones are concerned, because we've got this. Does this mean anything? Kind of, not really. Yeah, so they've got their farming incentives going. People are getting amongst it. Fantom is, you know, one of the tokens of the reward, so it's getting sold off, but you know, the hype is there with it too. So it looks like it wants to keep going and keep breaking out. Yeah, this chart's very good. I like this one. What's the weekly look like? Yeah, the weekly kind of looks toppy, but on the 4 hour, like it's bouncing off all-time highs, the previous all-time high, and it could just launch off. So that looks good. Versus BTC. This is BTC. It's not terrible. We've got an inverse head and shoulders type pattern here. A nice green one. We want to see, you know, if it can keep above this high. If we can get above here, it's going to keep going. So on the dollar pair, it's okay. There's a lot of development going on with Fantom in their ecosystem, so that's probably a good one to look at. Vechain, Vet. So I'll go back to the daily. Not awesome. It needs to be above here. Looks awful. That's bad. I don't like that at all. That's going to keep going down. It's going to keep going down versus Bitcoin. I wouldn't be buying this. Even if it did go up on the USD pair, Bitcoin looks like it wants to outperform it. So, not great. We'll end off with the last request. Let's go Axie Infinity. So Axie on the dollar chart. Yeah, it's a tough one. They've got some good fundamental stuff coming up though, because they've got the Ronin DEX launching soon. So they've got their own side chain for their game, which doesn't have any fees. Like there's no gas fees on it. It's fairly fast, and they give you 100 free trades per day, and then after that, I think you got to pay a small gas fee. And there's Axie staking as well. So that's what happened here with that huge pump when Axie staking got launched. So, I mean, on the lower time frames, it looks okay. If it starts breaking down past here, it's going to fall down to like $90 or something probably. Versus Bitcoin, it's not as bad as some. So it's bouncing off the top. It's bouncing off the top of here. So as long as it can hold here, it should be fine. But it has lost this level. So it could come up then back down, and you don't want that. So, but from a USD pair, it's okay. It is starting to. I mean, the whole thing's overheated. I mean, it launched from $4 to $120. So, but then then again, the scene itself, its ecosystem is exploding. So it's a tough one to call. It's still okay. It's still good. Would I enter here? No, I think there's better. Like in terms of risk reward plays, like how far you need. I guess you need to ask yourself with all of these plays is how much further do you think it's going to go before it tops out. So let's assume you think it's going to top out in December or January. How much further is it going to go, and is it worth it? Because this might go to $240, right? But that's only a double from here. Wow, like a double, like in an ecosystem, like in an environment where alts are doing ×5 and ×10. Like, is it worth it? Is it worth the risk? So, I mean, you can say the same for all the coins in the top 10, right? They've got less to move than coins that are in, between 50 and 100 on the coin market cap list. All right, I think that's enough. The recording's gone for how long? 45 minutes. That's heaps. Right. So cool. Thanks for the suggestions, and I hope you got something useful out of it. Cheers.